everybody back to the Gen 224 Marriage Podcast. We are Larry and Sue. We're your host, and we are excited for episode number 23 today.
That's hard to believe.
Yes.
I think I say that every time.
I know.
I'm going to be
because we're amazed that we're doing this still.
What, really? We're still doing this. All right. Yeah. So
yeah, you want to introduce?
Yeah. So today we wanted to share a little bit about one thing that we love. We love to do currently.
And
we'll get into the backstory in that just a little bit. And that is speaking at live events. We're getting ready to do a live event this weekend, and at the time of recording. And we just thought we would share a little bit about that, because this is something that perhaps you would be interested in doing as well.
And if you don't think that you would be interested in doing this, hang on to the end and listen to the entire story here today.
Absolutely. So for me, I grew up in front of people.
Yeah.
My dad happened to be the radio voice for all the local sports teams, all the high schools in our area, and there were several. And he was the sports voice. So he would broadcast their games on the radio, and he was frequently invited to MC like the banquet that the team would have at the end of the year. And I went with my dad everywhere from the time I was really little. He would take me even when I was 2 or 3 years old. And so I grew up sitting at the head table looking out over the room. So that felt very natural to me.
To have all the eyeballs looking
To have all the eyeballs looking at me. That wasn't, so
Did you just think like, this is where I belong?
Well, I didn't think it was weird. Like, I didn't think there was anything unique about what I was experiencing. And so I just thought it was very natural to be there. And my dad occasionally would say something about me or bring me up with him. And, you know, I didn't like speak, but I would, you know, he would have me up there with him. And I just got very comfortable with that. And
it's just amazing to me that as such, you know, like what you said, 3 years old or something, that you would sit there while he was broadcasting a game live.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
And so you just had to be totally quiet. I guess.
Yeah. He taught me how to sit very quiet and don't make any noise. Like I still have that skill. I can do almost anything silently.
It actually is a skill. Yes. There's no doubt. Yes. And I know that we worked really hard. We're getting off topic here, but I know we worked really hard with our kids during church, that, you know, we gave them things to do that were just like, we had quiet toys and coloring books and things. But so I don't know, maybe that's part of the reason why our kids did so well with that, because you were so experienced. Have never thought about that until just now.
I just, you're right. You're right though. And so I grew up, and then as I got older, he would bring me up more often, even ask me a few questions, and I would begin to talk. And then, so I really enjoy that. And then as an adult, I frequently joke around that I don't pass up an open mic.
You're very comfortable in
I am. It's very natural to me.
And it is natural. Yeah.
Now, that was not your experience.
No. No, all you introverts out there, unite with me here, because my experience, I had a real fear of public speaking. And it's interesting that, like, on some of those, what are they, surveys or no, like whenever they study people, I'm trying to think
what's a stressful thing.
What are the most stressful things in life, and there are people that, like, the fear of public speaking actually ranks higher than the fear of death.
Oh yeah, they would rather die.
People,
like
they would rather die than have to get up in front of people.
And that's something I don't comprehend.
Yeah. And you know, I can go back in my youth. I remember a time that I was in a Christmas play as a kid, and I made a big mistake. Like, I dropped something.
It was probably a little mistake.
It was a little mistake, but I was already so nervous. I was probably, 6 years old or something. I don't know. But everybody started laughing, and it just mortified me. And they were just, they were laughing at me. But these were, nobody wanted to hurt me.
Right.
Is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It was just funny what happened. I think I kind of tripped, and like I dropped something, and it just destroyed, the display that we were making. And So I remember that well, even though it's been a few decades ago. And so I think there's something to that kind of made it really difficult for me going forward. And for a long time, I just refused to get up in front of people. And I really struggled with speech class in school and all of that. And just gradually as an adult, I started getting into situations where I'd be up in front of 10 or 20 people.
What? Well, and then, so you knew that I was comfortable speaking.
Right.
And we had started going to homeschool conferences, taking our eBay bookstore. We were like expanding into in-person events, and homeschool conferences was where we went. And I'll never forget, one day you filled out a form. The conference organizers had given all of the vendors
just a feedback form. I just was giving them feedback on things.
And one of the questions was, would you want to ever speak at our conference? And what topic would you want to speak on?
And I signed up to speak.
You signed me up to speak.
I did.
But fortunately, you knew I would be okay with that. Yeah.
And I remember when you came back to the booth, you were somewhere, I don't know. Yeah. I said, I just signed you up to speak at the conference next year. And you're like, what? And of course, I had no idea that they would take us up on it, because why would they? Nobody knew who we were or anything, but they did.
They did take us up on it. Yeah. And I happened to pick a topic that resonated with people. So
yes. And so just to tell that story a little bit further out. So the next year we go there, and so I'm running the booth while you went to your room to speak, and our oldest daughter went with you to kind of carry stuff and
help me set up,
help out and everything. And then I don't know, it was like an hour-long talk, and maybe at the 30-minute mark, she's coming back to the booth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing? You're like, Mom needs your help and everything. And she said, oh, I don't know. It's just, I didn't think she really needed anything else. And she's kind of hemming and hawing. And then she said, and there was nowhere to sit. There were people standing all around the all the seats were full. There were people standing around the entire outside of the room, and they had the doors open, and people were standing in the doorway. There's just nowhere for me to be. And I went, oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was a popular talk.
And thankfully, I had that gift of not being nervous about being in front of a whole bunch of people. I mean, it was a little nerve-wracking, because all of a sudden it was like, wow, these people are really interested in this topic I have to deliver. So from that perspective,
maybe 100 people or something.
Yeah. It was like a large classroom. Yeah.
This is not like thousands of people.
Right.
Like 100 people. And for that little conference.
Homeschool conference. Yeah.
We were very surprised in a pleasant way.
It was.
Yes.
And so then I began to drag you up on stage with me.
So then you're like, you would speak, say, like 5 times at a conference, and one of those would be the two of us together on a topic that would help married couples in their homeschool journey and such. And
so now we've had experiences speaking together in lots of environments.
Yes. But I want to go back to the homeschool conferences, because so like this was very much a work in progress for me to get comfortable. And I very much leaned on you as we were talking. And I also wanted the entire talk scripted out.
Oh, yes. This is true.
I mean, like, I wanted to read it. How excited.
That's not how I do things.
So we had to work through that.
We did.
I mean, you went in with like, okay, we're talking in 5 minutes. What's the topic again?
No, I wasn't that much. Not that much. I prepared. I had notes.
You had
notes.
Index cards.
Well, yes.
Like 5.
A few points on each. Yeah, few words for each point.
And honestly, scripting out was horrible. That was a terrible idea. And I would script out my part a lot of times, or then I got to where we would do outlines. And that has been very, very good. That was actually helpful. And we would highlight mine in orange and yours in pink, or yours in purple. Sorry. So it was really obvious who was talking and what, but it'd just be like, an outline.
Right.
It'd be like a sentence, and we'd talk on it for several minutes.
And you have gotten to where you now speak very comfortably, very well from just a few words. You can extrapolate and share quite a bit of information from just a few words on the page.
Okay.
You do a great job.
So yeah, I don't know if I would say comfortable, but I actually enjoy I enjoyed the preparation so much.
Yes, you do. Yeah. Like you are very good at preparing. That's true.
Yeah. And I would like to do like PowerPoints and all that type of stuff, but it has to be done right.
Oh yeah.
Again, I'm going to go down the side issue there. But I will just say also on the homeschool conferences, one of the things that we noticed is that, I don't know, 80% of the attendees were women. And those 20%, the guys who were there were like, there was nothing for them for a long time. And so, I mean, there were sessions they could go to, but there's nothing specific for them.
Right.
And so then I actually came up with a couple of talks that was just for the guys.
Yeah.
And I actually did some speaking on my own.
All by yourself. I was so proud you graduated.
I know. And that went well.
It did. You did really well. You got good compliments.
I mean, there were like tens and tens of people. No, sometimes it was like really small. Sometimes it'd be 10 guys.
Well, like you said, there's not a big percentage of guys at those a lot of times. Yeah. Yeah.
I was fine with that. And then a handful of times where it was quite a few more. So
yeah.
And it's even got to the point where I've preached several sermons now in churches. And
done very well with that.
I've probably spoken in front of 100 to 120 people or something like that. I don't know, maybe more at various times. And so baby steps, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And so we've had the opportunity to speak together and separately in several environments. So the homeschool conferences, obviously, we've mentioned before, we taught a Sunday school class together. And so that was, getting up in front of people and talking. Yeah. All people who loved us and,
they were very forgiving.
We're forgiving and encouraging and things like that. We've spoken at business conferences.
Yes. And we've had, I'd say that, I just said 100, 120 people. I'd say we've had at least that many our sessions at some of those conferences.
Yeah.
And generally, they're, again, talking on topics of married couples working together and such. And that's really where we've gotten a lot of nice positive feedback that's encouraged us to do this podcast, such as well.
And we've even done a few seminars where it's basically us putting on a seminar. And so that's been
topic
or homeschooling or whatever it was. We've done a few different things. So we've had a lot of fun doing live events, doing things like this digitally. It's fun because you get to get your message out. It gets to go out to a wide audience and that kind of thing. And I really do enjoy it. But that being in a room with the people that you are presenting to, there's something really, really special about that. And we love doing that.
Yeah.
You love doing it too now, right?
I actually do. I get really nervous. People say I don't look like it, but believe me, the stomach is churning and everything. And so the thing about like this format is people get to know us a little bit, but we don't get to know them.
Not so much, not unless they reach out to us.
Yeah. Which we hope that you will.
Yeah. And some do. And we appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. And plus there's a delay to this. We're recording this today.
Yeah.
And people will be watching or listening to it. I mean, who knows? Maybe years from now. Right. It definitely could be days from now or weeks from now. And so there is a delay there and we don't get any immediate feedback from it.
Right.
We'll get some feedback later, but no immediate feedback. But with the live audience, you get that immediate feedback, the eye contact, maybe the lack of eye contact.
Well, you get to read each other's body language. Like people get more of a, I guess, a deeper message from us because they see everything. They see body language, facial expressions, hear tone of voice. Perhaps we have a bit of a PowerPoint presentation or we have props that we use or whatever. We love doing skits, don't we?
I love writing skits.
And I drag him up there to help me perform. We have a good time with skits. Almost always we do some kind of a skit. So I guess we're going to come up with a skit for this week.
I guess so. That's normally how we do it too. It's normally fairly short notice.
And so we have that total feedback, and then we get to see the same thing from the audience and see if we are connecting, if we see a quizzical look like I didn't follow that. Oh, we know to clarify something we just said or what have you. And we just love that energy.
I can say energy is kind of the key word there. And as a speaker, you need to kind of create the energy for the room.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you start creating it, then the audience will pour it right back to you.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Then it just goes from there.
It flows back and forth. Yeah. And we've had some really fun experiences, some really unique stories, things that have happened as a result of speaking at a conference.
And I think the example that we had talked about ahead of time, I think you were leading into, I'm pretty sure that was the first homeschool conference that we spoke at together. Would you?
Let's see. I think you may be right. I think you may be right.
And I remember we were up on a big stage, like it was a big room. The room was not full.
Yeah.
It was like a breakout session, but we were in the main room.
Yeah.
And so just that was a little intimidating for me. But it also was like, wow, like we're kind of on a big stage here. And that's kind of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
But we gave a talk on, was it like balancing life and homeschool?
Probably. That was one of the first topics we covered. So it probably was.
So I do remember that you gave that talk in house slippers, though.
I certainly did, because I needed to wear them for the skit at the beginning.
And then she's kept them
on.
We
do skits.
She was in her house coat and slippers for the...
Yeah, I took the house coat off after the skit was over. So I didn't do the whole thing in a robe. So
just way too many details. But, this is what we do, right?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it was right after I had quit the day job.
Yes, you had come home like maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks earlier.
It was weeks, yeah. And so this was like, we were excited about it. So I may have said it in an excited way, but it was one line of an hour-long talk where I said, I just recently quit the day job and we're doing this full time now.
Yeah.
And so
not the point of the talk.
Not the point of the talk.
The talk was about balancing life and homeschooling.
Yes.
And we had this beautiful skit that we performed and we had a great talk that we gave. It was amazing. He wrote the notes. And it was just really a great talk. And we were really excited to be able to, because after you talk, when you do the things in person, people can come to you and talk about what you said.
And that's another big part of why we love the live conversation. You get Q&A during the session, and you almost always get Q&A after the session. And people who will come up to you and start talking to you and asking you questions and digging deeper. And so maybe somebody asked us about the topic.
I don't recall anybody asking us about the topic of the talk. But we did have a lot of people come and talk to us.
They did, and they were all wanting to ask about how we managed to come home full time.
Yeah.
How we moved from I guess that part of it was on the transition process.
Some of them came to our table looking for information about that because they want to know how it should be. We're like, we didn't prepare for that. That wasn't the point.
Today we'd be prepared for that.
That's right. We would be prepared today.
But yeah. We realized that we're onto something here.
Yeah.
That is important for people.
Yes.
And maybe that kind of resonates with you as well. Maybe that's where you are right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And so anyway, that was kind of a fun experience that we had. But we've actually covered quite a few different topics over the years at the various places where we have spoken. So obviously we've covered homeschooling topics, but we've talked about being in business together as a married couple and what that's like.
Yeah. And sometimes it's gotten more like on the business end of things. Like I remember one we did at, I think it was the 10-year mark of us doing this full time, that we were like 10 things that we've learned along the way.
Yeah.
And so that was more businessy, but a lot of it was on the relationship. But most of the time it's been on the topics of relationships and navigate this together.
We've talked about how to dream together as a couple.
Yeah.
And thinking about the future. And we've covered that even in a few episodes here, but
right. Because there's an art to it.
Yeah.
Of doing it in the right way. So it doesn't create conflict. It creates connection.
Yeah. Obviously we did, after that experience at that conference that you just talked about, we developed a whole talk about planning to come home and how to prepare for that. And we've walked people through doing that.
Yeah, I would say, some people will just start a side hustle, so to speak, just to bring in a little extra income.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I would say a lot of people have that dream of wanting to make that full time, but it's scary. There's a lot of unknowns.
That's it. It's the unknown that's scary. You need somebody to show you the way.
And that way we can share all the mistakes that we made.
Yes, and you don't have to do them. You don't have to do them at all. So one of the things, we didn't even talk about this. One of the things we want to encourage you to do is think about what do you have in your hand that you could share with other people? Mm-hmm. We were challenged very early on. This was even before you came home from the day job. Yes. And we were selling on eBay as a side hustle. Well, you were selling on eBay as a side hustle. And we were challenged by the person that we were following. He said, you know what? You need to prove to yourself that you know a lot about selling on eBay and that other people want to learn what you know. Mm-hmm. And so he challenged us to make an offering, put it out there and say, hey, I'm going to be at such and such place. I'm going to talk about, for us, it was selling on eBay. Yeah. And so we did that at a local library and nobody knew us. We've never been a big name anywhere or anything like that. And lo and behold, that room was full. Again, it sat a couple hundred people probably, and there were people standing around. I mean, it was full.
Yeah. And I think that was really key for us because we didn't make any money on that.
Oh, no. We
offered it for free. Mm-hmm. It was a good service to the library because they want to get people to come in. So a community service, I would say. And we provided a lot of valuable content to people. And in addition to doing what you just said, is we kind of solidified it in our minds that we do know more than the average person on this. And that we can teach and we can get up in front of people and just all of those things. So, so we would encourage you to do that same thing. And you may be thinking, well, I don't know enough to do that on a topic. And I'm sure you do, though.
Yeah.
I think one of the questions we've heard people ask is if somebody just, threw out a topic right now and you just had to talk on it for 20 minutes straight, no notes, no thinking about it, what would that topic be? Mm-hmm. And I think everybody has got that topic.
Oh, everybody has one topic. Yeah, exactly. You've got something in your hand that that other people want to learn. And you can prove it to yourself by just go out on your social media platform, maybe go to the local library and say, hey, can I have a room to present this free seminar? And let people know, hey, I'm going to be talking on this topic. In fact, right now in our little bitty town, I don't know if you know this, I've been watching on Facebook in the group that's for our little town, neighbors, there's somebody who said, hey, does anybody want to learn how to can food? It's a homesteading skill. And they're filling up a whole class and she's doing it paid actually, but she's proving to herself that, hey, I have something that people want to learn and they're going out and doing that. I would suggest doing a free seminar, but if you've got to put together supplies like for canning, maybe, charge a nominal fee, but you would be surprised that people are interested in a topic that you know something about, and whether or not they know you, they will come because they want to learn about the topic.
Yeah. So because those small things that you start with can lead to big opportunities.
Yeah.
And you just never know what's going to take off.
That's right. And here we are, coaching married couples.
Yes.
Helping them to build their dream business without wrecking their marriage.
Right.
All because my dad brought me up on stage when I was 2 years old, and then later I dragged you up.
Yes, absolutely. There is a lot of value that we can do in this type of format or over, online meetings and such. But there's just something really special about the live events and the energy that you get and the opportunities that are presented to you when you're the expert in the room.
Yes.
And so we would just encourage you to think about it. Think about some possible opportunities there.
Absolutely. So hopefully we've inspired you to dream about something else that you might be able to do and add to your tool belt to help you establish yourself in authority and build that business that you want to do.
Yeah. So I think that'll be a wrap for today. Please reach out with any questions that you have on this topic, or just kind of share with us maybe something that you have done in the past or something you're planning to do in the future. We would love to get that feedback from you. And
we'd love to cheer you on as you do this, and maybe develop a little thing on the side.
Yeah, absolutely. So we hope that you take this information today, and this will help you in your marriage and your business, and it will help you to live as one flesh today,
tomorrow, forever.
Take care.
See ya.